Hello everyone, welcome back to CMME Made Easy, and I hope you all are doing very well. Before we begin, let me remind my dear students that the contents of this channel are only to supplement your knowledge, not to replace the regular online and offline classes in your institution. So please attend your classes and do not miss them. Also, if you like our contents, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the videos and share these videos with your friends, with your batchmates, with your juniors. Also, if you are a teacher, then with your students. Please follow our Facebook page and the link will be given in the description. Today's topic of discussion is clinical trial. What is a clinical trial? Clinical trials are scientific investigations that examine and evaluate safety and efficacy of different therapies and investigations in human subjects. So, if there are two or more options to diagnose a particular disease, we can find out which option is better. Similarly, if there are multiple treatment modalities against a particular disease, then clinical trials help us to find out which modality is efficacious and safer as compared to the other options. Clinical trials find better way to prevent, diagnose and treat diseases. Clinical trials are carefully designed, reviewed and completed and need to be approved before they can start. People of all ages can take part in clinical trials, including children. So here I have given an example. Suppose for a particular disease, we have two different treatment modalities. So tablets and capsules, and both of them work against a particular disease. So we have selected two groups of people and all of them are suffering from that disease. One of the group are treated with tablets and the other group is treated with capsules. And then we try to find out among the people who received the tablet, how many of them got cured. Similarly, of all the people who received the capsules, how many of them got cured. So by this we can find out which modality of treatment works better as compared to the other option. So clinical trials can be used to compare between treatments, for example drugs, or maybe two different surgical approaches for a particular disease. It can also compare between vaccines or other preventive measures to prevent any particular disease, and sometimes between investigations for any particular disease. So whenever we are comparing between two different interventions, which can be two different treatments, two different preventive measures, or even two different investigations, we compare in terms of efficacy, that means which intervention works better. Also about the cost, that means which intervention cost less, and also the side effect or complications from the interventions. For example, here we have compared the tablets with the capsules. Suppose the capsules work better than the tablets, but we also found out that there are more side effects among the people who used the capsule. Also, the cost of the capsule is much higher as compared to the tablets. So because of these two reasons, the side effect and the cost, maybe the capsules will not be acceptable for the common people. So maybe the tablets will be more popular option for the patients. Now coming to different phases of clinical trial, we have four phases: phase 1, 2, 3 and 4, and all these phases are summarized in this table. So phase 1, which is conducted on about 50 healthy volunteers, is done to assess safety and acceptability of the drug. Phase 2 is conducted on about 100 to 500 low risk patients to assess long-term safety, dose and schedule, and early indications of efficacy. Phase 3 trial, where we conduct randomized control trial or RCT on 1000 or more high risk patients to assess the effectiveness of the intervention. And phase 4 trial is known as post-marketing surveillance, which is done in the community on 1000 or more number of subjects. So before the phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 and phase 4, even before all these phases, there is another phase known as phase 0, which is also known as human microdosing studies. So the objective of this phase is not to assess the safety and efficacy of the drug. Here we introduce a subtherapeutic dose of the drug to a small number of subjects, about 10 to 15, to find out about the agents or the drugs, pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics. So basically how the drug works in our body, that we try to find out in phase 0 by applying subtherapeutic dose of the drug in a small number of subjects. After this we start phase 1. So phase 1 trials are the first stage of testing in human subjects. Normally a small group of 20 to 100 healthy volunteers will be recruited. So here you can see the number is 20 to 100, but here in this table we had 50. So it ranges from maybe 15, 20 to up to 100, 150 like that. The trials are conducted in an inpatient clinic where the subject can be observed by full-time medical staff until several half-lives of the drug have passed. So that means it is done under a controlled situation with an objective to assess the safety and acceptability of the drug. So this is phase 1. Phase 2. These trials are performed on larger group of people, about 100 to 300 low risk subjects or patients, and are designed to assess the activity of the therapy as well as to continue phase 1 safety assessment in a larger group of volunteers and patients. So phase 2 studies are divided into phase 2A and 2B. In 2A, we specifically assess the dosing requirements. So how much dose is required to treat the disease. And in phase 2B, we look for the efficacy of the drug. That means whether this drug is working or not. So this is about phase 2, where we look for the long-term safety as a continuation of phase 1. The dose and schedule, that means how much dose of the drug we need, and also early indication of efficacy, that means whether the drug is working or not. Phase 3 studies are the randomized control trials on a large patient groups, about 300 to 3000 or more, and are aimed at being the definitive assessment of the efficacy of the new treatment. They are the most expensive, time consuming and difficult trials to design and run. Phase 3 should be designed and conducted to a high standard with precise quantitative result of efficacy and safety. So this is the most important part, where you look for the effectiveness, or you can say efficacy in practical situation. What is the difference between efficacy trial and effectiveness trial, that we shall discuss in a few minutes. So if a drug passes the phase 3 trial, then it is allowed to be marketed. That means it will be available in the pharmacy, medicine shops, in the hospitals, etc. And people can have access to the drug. After that, we conduct the phase 4 trial, which is also known as post-marketing or post-surveillance trial. Phase 4 trials involve the post-launch safety, surveillance and ongoing technical support of a drug. This is designed to detect any rare or long-term adverse effect over a much larger patient population and time scale than was possible during the clinical trials. So clinical trials, we have a time limit and we have to assess everything in the given time limit. After the drug is marketed, we can have adequate time to assess whether there is any long-term side effect or how much the drug is working in the actual patients in the community. Such adverse effects detected by phase 4 trials may result in the withdrawal or restriction of a drug. So if a drug passes the phase 3 and is marketed, and then if you conduct the phase 4 trial and find out that there is some serious side effect from this drug, so even after being marketed, based on the result of the phase 4 trial, we can also withdraw or even can restrict the use of a drug which have already been marketed or released. So these are the individual phases of clinical trial. Now coming to efficacy and effectiveness trial. Efficacy trial answers the questions: does this intervention work under optimal condition? That means ideal situation. But we have to remember, whenever a patient is taking a drug or any treatment, he may not be in the ideal situation. So whether this drug or intervention work under usual condition or practical or real life condition, that question is answered by effectiveness trial. So efficacy trials are sometimes called explanatory trials, whereas effectiveness trial are known as pragmatic trials. So explanatory trials or efficacy trials, the main purpose is to provide biological information about the way the drug acts and the way the body reacts to the drug, and it tests the efficacy in a research setting with highly selected participants and under a highly controlled condition. That means whenever these trials are being conducted, the researcher can control the condition and can see whether this drug acts in the ideal situation or ideal condition. What is pragmatic trial or effectiveness trial? It aims to test procedures under the condition in which they would be applied in practice. Because as I already mentioned, in practical situation, the patients may take the drugs where the conditions are not ideal. So in real life situation, whether the drug is working or not, for that we have to do pragmatic trials or effectiveness trial. So pragmatic trials test effectiveness in everyday practice with relatively unselected participants and under flexible conditions. That means not always the ideal condition. In this way, pragmatic trial or RCTs can inform decision based about practice. So what is happening in the real life is known by the pragmatic trials or effectiveness trial. And if it is conducted under control condition, that is known as the efficacy trial or explanatory trials. Now clinical trials can also be described on the basis of hypothesis, that is superiority studies, equivalence studies and non-inferiority studies. So what is a superiority study? Suppose there is a new drug which is being compared to an existing drug. The superiority study will tell us whether this new drug is better than, or you can say superior to, the existing gold standard drug. Alright, what about equivalence study? It says whether the new drug is equivalent or of same clinical benefit as compared to the existing drug. So if two agents works equally well, maybe these two agents have same efficacy, then we have to look for which one is less expensive and which one is better tolerated, that means less amount of side effect or more easily administered. Maybe one of the intervention is a tablet, another is injectable. So obviously injectables are not very much appreciated by the patient. So based on these things, that means the expense, side effects, acceptability, etc., we prefer which one to be used. That means we can decide that which drug can be preferred among the patients since both of them work equally. So equivalence study. Non-inferiority trials try to find out whether the effect of the new treatment is not significantly weaker than the existing treatment. So this new drug is not very weak as compared to the existing drug. So these are the three different type of trials based on the hypothesis. Coming to the last part of today's discussion. Now all clinical trials must be registered in CTRI, that is the Clinical Trials Registry in India. So without being registered in CTRI, we cannot initiate the clinical trials. Also, when the clinical trials are complete, the reporting should be done following the CONSORT, that is Consolidated Standards of Reporting Trials. So the main product of CONSORT is the CONSORT statement, which comprises a 25 item checklist and the flow diagram. So I shall show you the checklist and the flow diagram. The checklist items focus on reporting how the trials was designed, analyzed and interpreted, whereas the flow diagram displays the progress of all participants through the randomized trials. So here you can see this is the checklist. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 like this and 25 items, and you have to mention individual item in details. So by this we are reporting how the trial was designed, analyzed and interpreted, whereas this flow diagram actually tells us about the progression of the study participants through the trial. So how these subjects were enrolled based on eligibility criteria, and based on exclusion criteria, how many of them were excluded from our study, then how we randomized them into two different interventions, we followed them up, and the analysis. So etc. is portrayed in the flowchart. So with this, we conclude clinical trial. Please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share this video with your batchmates, with your juniors, and also with your friends from other colleges. We also have our Facebook page. The link is given in the description. Please follow our Facebook page and take care. We shall see you in our next video.